Happy New Year, everyone. Whether you're the type to do resolutions or you're just continuing where you left off last year, I hope the New Year's been a good start for you, that the holiday season kept you safe and healthy and some good time with family and all that good stuff. As we get into January, I know one of the things we think about is some good reminders for things that we've done well and that we need to continue doing well. And then also some general kind of cleanup tips and things that often get forgotten as we kind of get in the grind of the school year, but we want to make sure that we have them in our forefront as things to do cleanup wise, and then some recommendations for things to think about as we go forward. So that's kind of my theme for this month. We have a couple things to talk about, reminders and best practices. There's a new feature in Google Slides that I think is interesting that we can all take advantage of. And then I have some efficiency tasks as general reminders of things to do, plus tips for going forward. So let's dive right into that. And so the first thing I want to talk about is a reminder of some of the security things in the past that we have discussed. Over the last year or two, we've spent a lot of time talking about security, best practices with how we manage our accounts, security with our badges, security with our devices. And the device security is something I want to touch upon today because we've seen a lot lately where we haven't, as a group, always honored our security when it comes to our devices that we're assigned. So whether you have an iPad, a phone, district desktop, a district laptop, whatever device we're assigned to is our device that we are assigned to. It's tracked in our inventory system. It's part of our employment. And what is important about that is we shouldn't let anybody else sign into that device. It is your device. It is tracked to you as an employee, and we shouldn't let any other staff member sign into it. We certainly shouldn't let any other student sign into it as well. And that's something we've seen a lot lately. Is that everyone is assigned a device. We're fortunate enough that we have one-to-one for staff members and for students, and so the need for having somebody else sign into your device should not be there. Um, and we've just seen an increase in this lately. And there are some major security issues with allowing somebody else to sign into your computer. It can potentially give access to things that you don't want them to have access to. They could potentially search for things that ultimately fall under your name because it's your device and you're assigned to it. And so it's just a best practice. Treat this assigned device that you have as your own personal security piece, just like you would your ID badge. Treat it as securely as that. So please, just a reminder: do not let anybody else sign into your computer. It is assigned to you, and certainly do not let students sign into your device. That's what the Chromebooks are for. A new feature in Google. A lot of us use Google Slides for many things, and it's a collaborative a tool for sure, but it's also a teaching tool, depending on all the different uses that we have for it in the district. And one of the things they just added recently is this idea of following somebody in the presentation as you're working on it together, or as at least viewing it together. Up in the top, when you have multiple people on a same presentation, you get the picture icons of who is there. And if you actually click on a person who you want to follow, so maybe you want your students to follow you, or maybe somebody's leading a group discussion and is navigating through the slides, you want to make sure you're all looking at the same slide at the same time. If you click a person at the top, you'll see that it gives this following word to it. So it says, hey, visibly, you're following this person. So as they click through the slideshow, your view automatically updates to whatever slide they're on. This can be a great way to make sure everybody's looking at the same slide, staying on the same path, and not getting distracted by other things that are there. So handy little trick. Encourage your students to do that if you're using this in class. Encourage your colleagues to do it if you're in a meeting or collaborating on something. This can be a great tool. And naturally, as you'd expect, if you click off of the person, then you're back to your own management view from there. All right, let's talk about efficiency. We got three things to focus on this year or this month as we get started. We have some cleanup tasks. I have some reminders of emailing from SchoolBrains and a little did you know that is possible right from there in terms of efficiency. And then I'll talk briefly about this 10 inbox rule that if you spend any time with Corey and I over the years, this is something we bring up a lot, and it's an easy philosophy to understand, but perhaps one that's hard to live by. But we'd encourage you to think about it as something as we get into that. So, first thing, cleanup tasks, things that pile up over the course of time. Your downloads folder. Take some time this week or into the next week to go through that downloads folder on your computer or your device, whether you're Windows, Mac, Chromebook. You all have this place where downloads go, and usually it just stays there and piles and piles and piles over time. And it can certainly bog down your computer, can certainly bog down yourself as you're trying to look for something that you might have downloaded when you're looking through hundreds of files. More often than not, you don't need them anymore. They're done. You've already moved on from it. It's still in your email or the website that you got it from, or you already filed it away in a more important place. So definitely take some time to clean up that downloads folder, erase the things that are in there. Chrome bookmarks is another thing that we'd encourage you to clean up over the course of time. You can pile up bookmarks all the way through your view, whether you spill off into this bar at the top or you end up having too many of these resources that just spill off into folders. And this is an area that you can manage and that you can clean up as well. And so when you go to the triple dots in Chrome, you can go to bookmarks and you can go to this bookmark manager. And Bookmark Manager gives you the ability, as you might expect, to manage your bookmarks, whether you make folders on the side, whether you drag and drop, or use the good old delete option to clean up as you go, so that your bookmarks become not just something that is an endless list, but becomes something that is actually useful and organized for you as you go through your web browsing day. And then the third thing is just some good old Google Drive organization. Manage the stuff that is in your drive. If it's an endless list, if you don't have a good folder structure in there, let's think about the things that have piled up to start this school year. Can you move some of it to an archive? Can you delete some things that you don't need anymore? Do you need to compile things into units or time frames? Are the names of the files helpful for you as we're thinking about this? Better to do it now than the end of the school year, right? Some of this stuff might be more fresh in your mind as we think about organization and think about how to keep things managed here. So spend some time in Google Drive. We definitely have some strategies that we operate on in our world. And so if you want to book a training and discuss some of this, we'd be more than happy to review some of those strategies as well. All right, emailing from SchoolBrains. It's something that we've talked about before as a quick, easy option, especially with Gmail being our default email option. We have these two different ways to quickly email right out of SchoolBrains, and I'll show a little recap of it. And the did you know is that we can do it from a student profile as well. Nice, easy way to communicate out to a student and their related contacts. And so if you're in a single student view, right at the top, you might not have noticed that there's a little email icon when you're viewing a student profile. And if you click on that, what's great about this is not only does it give you the email links for the student itself, but you get all the parent guardians right here and email parents. You can email their counselors if there's one assigned to it in here, but it also has their entire schedule loaded here. So if you needed to email all of their teachers at one time, it has their entire schedule ready to go, and you can just quickly hit that email button and it generates an email message and gets you ready to go. And the same is true on a section level. So if you're viewing a section, whether you're a classroom teacher or you have a school view and you're looking at an individual section, there is an emails tab in this that you can quickly email all the students in that section, email all the parents, or email both of them all at once. And so again, from an efficiency standpoint, the source of truth is SchoolBrains with contact information. Grab that quick email button for the student and all their related contacts, or grab that section and email all the parents and or students from there. nice and easy. And then finally, I want to talk a little bit about this 10 inbox rule. If you've been using email for any period of time, you might have seen that number in your inbox just grow and grow and grow. I've been working in this technology industry in a variety of ways, pretty much since I was out of college, and the biggest record I've ever seen is somebody with over 90,000 emails in their inbox. And so you might feel like you have a lot, but I haven't seen anybody hit that threshold yet. I don't want to see anybody hit that threshold yet. It's all relative, I guess, in some ways. So don't feel bad if you have a large number in there. But what we would tell you is that we would encourage you to think about how to manage that number. A bunch of us in technology work on what we call this 10 inbox rule, where we don't want to have more than 10 emails in our inbox at any given time. And that might sound crazy to some, depending on how you currently manage your email. We find that the general approach is that you just let the inbox pile up for a lot of people, and we utilize the search to go through it. And that can work great, but the problem is sometimes we just can't find stuff, or things get buried or lost because we just have this endless pile in our inbox. And so for us, using this 10 inbox rule it forces us to use it almost like a to-do list. And it forces us to make sure that we're addressing the things that need to be addressed whenever they come through. And it really kind of breaks down to three simple things. With any email that comes in, we have three options to do. We either respond to it right away. If you ever heard of the getting things done method, that book and that philosophy that was written a few years ago, one of their core principles is that if you can get something done within 2 minutes, just do it right away. Then it's done, it's off your plate, you don't have to worry about it. And so if you get a message that comes in, can you respond to it? Is it something that you can finish and address within a couple minutes? Do it right away, you're done, you've responded. And then you move to step two. Step two is maybe you'd file that message away because you're done with it. You don't need to worry about it anymore. It's off of your inbox to-do plate. It needs to move off. And when we can certainly help you with setting up labels and organizing your email, just like we can with our Google Drive setup. And then emails that come in, you can sometimes skip to step two with it right away. It's something that was good to know. It was an iSchool newsletter that you read, or a curriculum newsletter that you read, and you just want to file it away so you can reference it later. Choose to do that. You've responded to it, or you can just file it away because you know that it's something that you might need to reference later on. Or number three, just trash it. We get a lot of emails from different things that, admittedly are junk. Obviously, nothing from within the district. Everything internal is super important, of course. But we inevitably get emails that just make that decision to trash it, get it out of your inbox. You're done. Just hit that archive or delete button and move on. And so we take this approach that any email that comes in, we just quickly identify: do we respond to it, or do we file it away, or do we trash it? And if I can't respond to it right away, if it's going to take a little bit, then it's okay to hang in your inbox for a little bit. But let it become your to-do list, so it doesn't get piled up more than 10 things. Take that time throughout your day, whether you can do it during a prep period, or you'd say, hey, 15 minutes to start my day, 15 minutes to end my day. I'm going to go through these things. Make a habit of doing this process so that we just don't get to that point of feeling overwhelmed, perhaps, with the amount of emails in there. And again, just like we talked about with the file organization stuff, this is a philosophy that we use and have applied and worked with over years. So if it's something you want to explore, book a training session. We'd be more than happy to talk through this in person and show you some examples. All righty, so that's all I have for the start of the school year. I hope you guys are doing more than well. Definitely reach out to us via support ticket or training session if you need anything else, and just enjoy January and what 2023 can bring. Take care.